Nerdy is defined as someone characterized by an obsessive interest in something. Xbox, Marvel, technology, D&D, Lord of the Rings, escape rooms, Pokemon, Funko Pop, Star Wars, PlayStation, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Nintendo, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. All of that is Tech D Rob, host of the Nerd News Podcast, your source for everything nerdy.
I realize you guys are all nerds.
And this is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome to the Nerd News Podcast. My name is Tech D Rob, and this is my office. So let's see. There's a Spider-Man little hanging thing there. You can't really read it, but right there is a hand-drawn thing that says Nerd News Podcast from my girlfriend's little nephew. We got two giant Eevees there, Dexter, some board games over here as well, and then more Funko Pops there and there. So welcome to my office. This should be the setting of most of the Nerd News podcasts from here. Always more comfortable when I can get in this recliner. So, without further ado, let's get into the Nerd News. We'll start with video game releases. Oh, stay still. Age of Wonders 4 is out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC tomorrow. Redfall also out tomorrow on Xbox Series X and S and PC. And then Super Dungeon Maker on Switch and PC on Wednesday. Then Thursday, Ravenlock is out for all Xbox consoles and PC. Well, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Not Xbox 360 or, anything before Xbox One generation. So that's a light week. Also light this week, 80 for Brady and Champions on DVD, but Renfield, Dungeons & Dragons, and The Pope's Exorcist are available for digital consumption this week on Vudu. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is in theaters this week. I will be seeing it on Thursday, so hopefully I can give you a review of that next week. Things I do have a review of this week. The Pope's Exorcist, I did see that on Sunday. And I probably shouldn't see that kind of movie on a Sunday, but whatever. Barry, I'm caught up. I'm also caught up on Ted Lasso. And I've played 30 minutes of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so I can clearly give you a full review. Just kidding, of course. And some other things. But we'll do all of those when we return to the Nerd News Podcast here in just a moment.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. At TechD_Rob. This is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome back to the Nerd News Podcast. In the break, literally, I just saw that there are casting rumors for the Fantastic Four, and I'll just go over those real quick with you so we can say we did it. But follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, TechD_Rob on all those platforms. Doing some Twitch streaming. I'm working back into it. Planning to do it at least weekly. My plan is, right now I'm playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Then Redfall is out this week. I plan to play that a little bit. And then I will be MIA once Zelda hits, because I don't know how to play the Switch on stream without not being able to hear the audio. I got to figure that out. So, yeah. I don't know how I can figure that out, but we'll see what I can muster. I don't know. Anyway, so the rumors are from my phone. Adam Driver as Reed Richards, Margot Robbie as Sue Storm. I don't see that one. Paul Mescal as Johnny Storm, and Antonio Banderas as Galactus. I mean, apparently this person, Daniel Richtman, according to JoeBlow.com, has been right about other things before, but this one seems a little far-fetched to me. They're also talking about maybe a female version of Ben Grimm, which calling her Darla Deering. I don't know. I'd be okay with Adam Driver as Reed Richards, but I feel like he could do a different role and still be great in it. But Antonio Banderas as Galactus, that seems like a waste of Antonio Banderas. Galactus is, this all-powerful being who doesn't really get a chance. He wouldn't really get a chance to do any acting in that role. I don't know. It's just a voice at that point, I think. Antonio Banderas has done voice roles before, so who knows. Also, I don't want Galactus to be some throwaway in Fantastic Four. He needs to be the next big bad after Kang, which obviously Kang's the big bad guy right now. Anyway, so those are the casting rumors. What other things I want to talk about? So, the European Union or whoever it is has decided to. What's the word I'm looking for? They are nixing, maybe? Is that how I should put it? The Xbox consumption of Activision. And that's not that is big news, of course. Yes, that means, it's another wrench in the cog of the machine to get that taken care of. And I am on Team Activision and Xbox joining. I bring more content to Game Pass is always a good thing by me. But within that information upheaval, the vomit of information that we got from that, it was reported that AAA games cost billions to make. Billion with a B. And I know TJ would hate that if he heard me. But that's a lot of money. And especially if a system like the Game Pass could potentially keep games from being more profitable in the future. So I understand their hesitancy. And I don't know why it's the company or, the government's place to say what's going on here, but either way. But billions of dollars to make video games seems absurd. But I mean, they make billions of dollars, so I guess it's you get back what you put in more than anything else at that point. I mentioned a minute ago that I'm streaming on Twitch, but I'm also going to be playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out. If you are like me and you're excited for Tears of the Kingdom, avoid spoilers online because they're everywhere now, apparently. So Tears of the Kingdom leaks are happening. And the game doesn't come out for 2 days. Hold on, let me mute my Discord. I did not realize I didn't do that. Sorry. The leaks are going on. The game's not even out yet. It's like 2 weeks away. I'm assuming someone who got an advanced review copy was a little less tight with their security and let some things out, or they purposely leaked them. I don't know if we'll be able to find out how that went down, but that's really the only way it could happen at this point. Speaking of leaks, the Mario Brothers movie is made over $1 billion, which is great. More Mario movies on the horizon, of course. Specifically Luigi's Mansion, please. Fingers crossed, that's what I'm looking forward to. But it keeps popping up on Twitter. And by it keeps popping up on Twitter, I mean the full movie. The entire movie of Mario Brothers has been put on Twitter by more than one account. And it's an account that's paying for Twitter Blue, so it has the unlimited upload feature. And they're posting the whole movie, which is absurd and also hilarious at the same time. I've seen the movie, and I recommend you do the same. Even if at this point they don't need your patronage, support good movies. I mean, that's what I've always said. Speaking of good movies, I loved Aquaman. Aquaman 1 was a fun movie. But Jason Momoa wrote an Aquaman 2 treatment that had climate change as the villain. Which, look, if I wanted to watch a superhero movie about climate change, stop making movies for me. I want to go to a movie to escape the real world. Look, whether you believe in climate change or not, it's something that is shoved down everyone's throats all day, every day. You have to get paper straws now, all that kind of stuff because of, all this. And I know paper straws is more for the turtles, but whatever. You know what I mean. There's all these different things because of the global warming situation going on. And all I'm saying is I go to a movie to escape the real world. So whoever decided to nix this, I appreciate you. Because I wouldn't want to watch it. No thanks. Don't preach to me when I'm paying you. Don't preach to me. Give me entertainment. That's what I come here for. Also in the entertainment world, King of the Hill, you may have heard that it's coming back for a little bit. I don't know how long or for how many episodes or anything like that. But what I do know now is that one of the voice actors on the show has said that it will be a time jump from the end of the series. Bobby Hill will be a full-grown man in this revival. So I'm very excited to see where that's taken. King of the Hill is one of the greatest comedies of all time. Not even just cartoon comedies. It's so good. It's hilarious. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Top 4 cartoons of all time? Is that what you asked me? Number 1, of course, is South Park. Always will be. Futurama is a close number 2. King of the Hill? Probably number 3. Number 4 would be, I don't know, American Dad. I like it better than Family Guy now these days. No, Bob's Burgers. Let's put Bob's Burgers on the list. It's much funnier than Family Guy. Now that I'm a grown up, an adult, Family Guy is not as fun to me anymore. And that's one of the few. I mean, if you listen to the regular Ace and TJ show, you know that that's weird for me. Like most things that I've enjoyed as a child, I still enjoy South Park. But I guess I was just a child with a very adult palate in everything but food. I still eat child food. But anyway, yeah, King of the Hill coming back. Very excited about it. Futurama also coming back, so hopefully we can get some information on that soon. So let's go on to things that I'm going to give you either reviews for or like first impressions. A first impression of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I told everyone in my Discord chat, I'm going to go play Star Wars, the new one, and they went, you should get your money back. And they said, no joke, you should do that. So naturally, I didn't do that, and I had to see what, if any issues arose. And I got through the majority of the first segment. It takes place on Coruscant, and I got through that part, and I didn't really see any issues, to be honest with you. I mean, I was playing on Xbox Series S. It's right over there in the corner. And it was a fun game. And I can't wait to put more time in. That's really all I have about it. I've seen no issues. From what I understand, mostly PC-related issues. So, who knows what the deal is there. Let's see. What's next on my list? Ted Lasso. If you aren't watching Ted Lasso, what are you doing? Get Apple TV Plus. It's one of the better subscription services. It's got Shrinking. It's got Trying. Ted Lasso's on it. And there's plenty of content coming on Apple TV Plus. Very underrated television service. Maybe my favorite one right now, to be fair. But Ted Lasso season 3, I believe. Season 3 is where we're at right now. And it started off very slowly, to be completely honest with you. It was okay. It has quickly evolved into one of the better seasons. They get a little political in the more recent episodes, and that's okay. It's real life. This is not one of those things where I go to it to escape real life. It's basically, it's a lot of real life stuff going on in this, and I completely understand that going into this one. And that's where I'm at with why I'm okay with that kind of thing in Ted Lasso. Very funny, as you might have guessed, with Jason Sudeikis involved. I enjoyed all of the season that I've seen so far. So if you're on the fence about Ted Lasso, which I feel like at this point you're probably not on the fence. You've either tried it and didn't like it, or you tried it and you forgot about it. One of those two. And if you did, or maybe you're watching it every week like I am. Well, I'm not yet, but I'm starting to. But either way, I don't think I'm going to be the one to sway you to watch Ted Lasso. And I just realized that it may look like I'm ADHD, and I am probably. But I got the camera right here, right? And right above it is my list of topics. So, if it looks like I'm looking past the camera, I am. I got to figure out a better way to do this, because I'm sure I look ridiculous looking at the camera for a little bit and then going back up like this. Either way, sorry. I'm working on how this setup's going to work. So that's where I'm at right now. Next thing I want to talk about is Barry, which is an HBO Max, soon to be called Max, television show, starring Bill Hader. Bill Hader, hands down, one of the funniest people ever. He was a highlight of SNL when he was on it, and SNL hasn't been quite as good without him. And Barry, if you're not familiar, he plays a hitman who decides to be an actor. Basically because he met a woman there, and he fell in love with her, and that's what she was doing. He was trying to do it to be closer to her. A little creepy, yes, and that's part of the point. But the newest season, season 4, will be the final season as far as I'm aware, and you should check it out. If you like Bill Hader, if you think he's funny, which you probably do, if you're interested in a show about a hitman trying to become an actor, also funny. Henry Winkler's in it. Insanely hilarious in this role. I love Henry Winkler. Who's texting me when I'm trying to do my podcast? Oh. It's a pizza place trying to get me to order pizza. Anyway, let's get back to Barry. You should check it out for sure. Let's see. What was I? I got distracted, which I tend to do. So yeah, check out Barry. It's final season on HBO Max going on right now. A couple episodes available, but you can easily binge it. There's 30-minute episodes. It's a great show. Finally on my list, and typically I try to do these reviews in order of least enjoyed to most enjoyed, but that's just isn't how this shook down. Final thing to talk about is The Pope's Exorcist. I saw it Sunday at 11 at my local AMC, and Russell Crowe, pretty great in it. He believably speaks Latin. I don't know if they taught him that or he knew Latin. And it's a funnier movie than I expected it to be, which is to say I didn't expect any humor at all. But Russell Crowe, a highlight of the movie for sure. A movie that, while it was fine, 6 out of 10 maybe, it was fine. Nothing incredibly scary about it, which is what you might expect from an exorcism movie. Nothing incredibly deep about it, which you might find from a theological standpoint. Just a good old-fashioned haunting or possession, as it were. So, it is what it is. That's The Pope's Exorcist in theaters, and as of the release of this podcast, available on Vudu, along with Renfield, which I highly recommend you see Renfield if you're only choosing between two of them. Renfield and... what was the other one? I took a snapshot. I took a screenshot of it so I could figure it out. So I could share that. There's dog hair everywhere in here. Where is it? Oh, nope. There it is. Oh, and Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, yeah, so of the 3 movies available on Vudu today, Dungeons and Dragons, Renfield, and Pope's Exorcist, definitely see the other 2. Renfield's great. Dungeons and Dragons is great. Pope's Exorcist, just fine. Wait till that comes to some free streaming service. If you're going to pay money to see movies, Renfield and Dungeons and Dragons is where it's at. All right. So, please, if you did watch this Nerd News podcast, hold on, I gotta get the focus back on my face. Did it work? I don't know. If you did watch this Nerd News podcast, watch it on YouTube, if you did that, please tell me things you liked, tell me things you didn't like, put it in the comments. I read the comments, every single one. There's not been many yet. I understand, I'm just getting started here on this YouTube thing. But if you have any comments, any ideas for me, please pass them along. I'm more than happy to improve something that needs improving. That's what I try to do every week. I got a message from a guy who listened to the Nerd News podcast for the first time last week, and he said, I don't know what he's talking about, but he certainly seems to know what he's talking about, which is what I normally get from the people who listen to the regular show, and then we're like, you know what, I'll check this out. I like Rob. maybe I'll enjoy this. And maybe sometimes I do get a little too deep into the weeds with the nerd terminologies, but I try to keep it. Enough in both. I try to keep it nerdy enough for the people who are nerdy that they don't go, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I also try to keep it normal enough so that the people who aren't nerdy don't just tune out. But sometimes when you walk a fine line like that, you're going to dabble in one or the other. So, I mean, I hope I've done justice to both sides. And I appreciate you joining me on this fine day. I assume it's a fine day where you're at. Again, the focus is gone. I gotta figure this out. I appreciate you joining me on this fine Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day it is that you're enjoying this Nerd News podcast, and I appreciate you. And I will see you next week.
That's it for this week's Nerd News Podcast. Follow TechD-Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at TechD_Rob. Subscribe now. More nerd news next week.